What's happening, everyone? Alex here. Let's talk about making difficult decisions in life, because I've been going through a few of those moments where it's like, I just don't know what to do. I don't know which route to take. And I'm stressed and annoyed and I'm procrastinating and I'm just generally frustrated because I just cannot come up with a solution to what I'm doing here. So, as is always the case with these videos, I use these as an opportunity to kind of nurture my own soul and nurture my own need to find an insight. So we can work through this together and see if we can find a breakthrough on this topic of difficult life decisions. And it can feel like sometimes we're kind of up against a wall and we just cannot find a way through, can't find a way around it. So I'm going to speak through this and see if we can get to something that's helpful for both of us. Maybe you're going through a difficult moment right now where you're faced with several choices and you don't know which one to take and it's difficult. I know what that's like. First of all, let's step outside of our heads for a moment. Let's get out of our emotions. Even in the run-up to this video, I was sitting stewing on my own decision and getting worked up about it and getting fed up. And I didn't really want to do this video at all. But as is always the case, when I commit to creating something, I tend to feel a lot better. So let's do that together. Let's step outside of our heads for a minute. Look at this objectively. So the first thing I'd say is, what does an easy decision look like? Just to see what's on the table here. What's an easy decision? Well, we can think of ourselves at a fork in the road, hypothetically, and we can see one path leading through a swamp filled with monsters. There are dangerous, poisonous chemicals in the swamp. It's clearly a bad choice to make. The other path is smooth, clear, there's sunny skies, there are no monsters, and it's obviously an easy route to take. So the decision in this case is an easy one, right? We're up against a fork in the road. Path A is clearly dangerous and stupid. Path B is, from this perspective, a good move to make. So there's no stress in that, right? There's no stress involved in a clear decision that needs to be made. And there's actually very little time needed to be spent on mulling over a decision that's easy. So let's think about difficult decisions then. So what's happening when we're faced with difficult decisions? It's very different to an easy decision, because what tends to happen is we're faced with multiple options that are kind of equally weighted. We look at the things in front of us that we could do and we want to do all of them, or they're all equally challenging but ultimately good for us. And so we look at them and we say, I don't know which one to take. There's a conflict there because we could take any one. So that's really important, isn't it? If I could take any one of these choices, then first of all, what's interesting is that it's an easy decision to make in the sense that all you got to do is make a choice, because every choice is the right choice. And there isn't any guidebook out there. There isn't any rule book that someone's written that says, Alex, you have to take this choice. There is this path laid out for you. So we need to drop this idea that there's this optimal route that we need to take that is ideal for us. And I think it's thinking that. I think it's having that belief that's creating this resistance for a lot of us. We think that there is the right choice to make. And we feel that stress more than at other times when we're faced with several options. And we think deep down, there must be a right path to take. And because I don't know what it is, I'm stressed. There's also this other idea that we have another thought that comes up that says, if I was to say no to this choice and yes to this one, then I'm going to have to deal with the pain and suffering and heartbreak of having to turn away from this other choice. And so we're also in fear of that. But here's the thing, and I think this is what makes it a lot easier for me, is knowing that there's always going to be this kind of in-the-moment intelligence that we can rely on, that we always forget's there. And the reason we get wound up and the reason we get frustrated with ourselves is because we forget that there's that intelligence, that we know what to do in the moment when it strikes us, right? We're not in the moment when we're stressed and annoyed. We're annoyed that we can't make a decision. That's a very different thing to just making a decision. And so I think what's important is knowing that when we're faced with a difficult life decision, it's usually because all the options are correct, right? There's no one right path. And so it doesn't matter which route you take if it's a difficult decision. It does matter which route you take if the decision is easy. That's why it's easy and it's obvious. When we're struggling with a decision, we can make it easy by just saying, you know what, that's just life. Let's choose a path. And it doesn't mean that it ends there. That's the key thing as well. If we choose one thing, we'll know soon enough whether it's right or wrong for us, because we're going by in the moment feedback, real world data feedback that we can use to help guide us as we continue on. So there's no need to sit and kind of twiddle our thumbs and get stressed about stuff. Just keep moving, keep making decisions, because every decision that's worth making is an easy one. I hope I'm still with you guys. It's not the most straightforward concept, but at the same time it's very straightforward. There's no point spending time on a difficult decision, because it's essentially telling you just need to choose something, and when you're in that path you'll know whether it's right or wrong, in which case you can always pivot. And it's impossible to make a devastatingly bad decision if you can't make a decision in the first place, because it means that any one of those choices is going to be fine for you. So that's what I'm getting at, is make use of and understand that there's this sort of deeper intelligence there that's guiding you, that's helping you, and we can forget that it's there, and we need to have that trust in it, and that's going to help us along, and that's all we need. We don't need to think that there is a right decision as well. There is no right decision. There's only the ability to pivot as we gain more feedback, as we continue on, and that's it. The reality of life is that we think we need to know, but we don't need to know. We don't need to know at every step what's right, because there is no right. So you're just stressing yourself up around an imaginary concept that things need to be perfect for you. But life is about exploring different strands of this endless kind of route system. And you can go down any one route, and you might find that one of the routes is poisonous, in which case you back up and you shift tracks. But you'll know to shift tracks because your intelligence is rising up and showing you that this doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel right in my gut, etc., etc. You'll get tons of feedback if you step out of your head for a moment. And that's the key thing, is that, as soon as we get aware and we bring consciousness into our lives, we're going to know how to navigate. We're going to know what feels right. So this is why instinct and gut really plays a big role in one's decision making. And as we close off, if you do come across a decision that just feels really difficult and there's a lot of conflict, it's a pretty good indication that either track you take is fine. Just make that decision and know that you'll know soon enough whether it was a disaster to make that decision or not. And if it is, then you back up and you move across. Just don't stay stuck. And I'm speaking to myself here as well as anyone else. Onward. And good luck with it all. Make sure that you're following my newsletter on Substack. It's untetheredmind.substack.com. There's a lot going on over there, lots of articles coming through, lots of insights. And you'll be able to access my Untethered Mind course and other books and courses through that membership. When you sign up either for free or as a paid member, you get additional perks. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Thanks for listening.